Take two on this video. Somebody was standing right behind me talking, so we don't want that. I'm in Sefton Park, which is in the south of Liverpool, and I just want to read a bit of the history of the park. And if I put the camera up close, you will be able to read it too. A Parisian park for the people of Liverpool. When Sefton Park was officially opened by H.R.H. Prince Arthur on the 20th of May 1872, it was the first public park in England with the Parisian influence to its design. Oh, what's that noise? I'll just turn off for a minute. That noise you heard was some kind of recovery vehicle. So we'll have another go at carrying on looking at this notice. As I was saying, the garden-esque landscape of curving paths, serpentine lake and wooded glades are the creation of French landscape designer Edouard André and Liverpool architect Louis Hornblower. Theirs was the winning design in a competition launched by the Corporation of Liverpool in 1866. The plan was to create a green belt of parks around the rapidly spreading urban Liverpool, where dense housing and poor sanitation were a threat to public health. The importance of green space for health and well-being was as important to Victorian planners as it is today. Today, the 110 hectare park, originally part of the ancient Toxteth Deer Park, is the city's largest public open space. It is Grade 1 listed in the Register of Historic Parks and Gardens and widely regarded as one of the country's premier public parks. Now, as you can see, as soon as you enter the park, you get a nice shady bit because there are tons and tons of trees in this park. But the purpose of this video is to show you the statues. Now, you might say, why am I focusing on that? It's because tons and tons of people do videos of Sefton Park. They show the boating lake and the palm house and the lovely trees and flowers, squirrels, etc. But this is a video that's slightly different because today I'm going to have a look at the statues. Take two again. I'll say that again. It is a bit quieter today, and I'm by the cafe at Sefton Park. Oh, look at that sun. Oh dear. I'm looking at the first of the statues. We'll get in closer. This is the first of the statues I'm looking at, and this is quite a busy part of the park where people congregate by the cafe, so you can hear plenty of chatter going on. Now, with this statue, I was right in the sun, so I had to find a better angle to photograph the statue. Now, if we get in closer, I'll be able to see it in better detail. There is the sunshine again, spoiling things. And we'll call it a day on that one. This describes the statue very well, this notice. A fountain of love. This ornate fountain is a replica of the Eros Shaftesbury Memorial Fountain that graces London's Piccadilly Circus. It was commissioned by local businessman George Audley as a gift for the park and unveiled in 1932 in the presence of the original's sculptor Sir Alfred Gilbert, and so on and so on. So I don't know how many people realise that there is a statue in London just like that one. Maybe they don't, but if they look at the video now they know. That was a view of the nice cafe, which is quite near the entrance. Now we're heading to the next statues. This is my favourite statue in Sefton Park. I was waiting for an aeroplane to go away. It's been going round in circles, I think, and you get people talking in the background, so I think I've got a quiet moment. Now it tells you on the Peter Pan statue that it was presented by George Audley in 1928, together with two cannons which were on the royal yacht Victoria and Albert. So it's rather worn, this little thing here, so you can see what I've just read out there. So it is rather worn, and you can see it on the foot of the statue, the little rabbits. People there. We'll just go round the statue because there's so much detail in this. George Audley has done such a good job, hasn't he? Oh, now that oh, these are not people, these are angels, aren't they? Because they've got wings. These are not people. Is that a dog's face there? More people's voices. So we'll stop with this statue and go on to some more. The first statue here at the Palm House is one of André Le Notre. It's a bit worse for wear. Now, there is the information there about him. I won't go into it too much. He lived from 1613 to 1700. He was a king of gardeners and gardener to the king. He was a landscape architect, a very famous one in his day. Now I'm getting a far better picture of this one of Captain James Cook. And I think everybody's heard of this explorer because he went thousands and thousands of miles around the world. And it tells you a lot about him underneath, which you won't be able to see at all, but I can tell you what it says. James Cook, born in Cleveland, Yorkshire, 1725, killed by South Sea Islanders, February 1779. The explorer of Australasia. Says he was constantly at sea from his youth to his death. He was an apprentice boy in the coal trade to a post captain in the British Navy. So that's him. I've got a good view of him. This next man, Mercator, was a map maker. He, as it says underneath, he was born 1512 and died 1594. This next one is Carl Linnaeus, who lived from 1707 to 1778. And he was a Swedish biologist who established the names of thousands of plants and other things. He gave organisms two Latin names, and come here and read all these for yourself. I mean, I'm not going to read every word on all these, but on to the next. Everybody knows about this man, Charles Darwin, 1809 to 1882. His major work was On the Origin of Species by Means of Natural Selection, and that came out in 1859. And everybody knows about his voyage on the Beagle, don't we? We all know that. So we won't talk about that. But it's a little worse for wear, unfortunately, now, this statue. This person is probably the most famous of all the people depicted in these statues. Christopher Columbus. It says underneath that the discovery of America was the maker of Liverpool. Is that true? It tells us he sighted America on October the 12th, 1492. So I waited for somebody to go because they were photographing the statue behind me and talking, so got a bit of peace and quiet. Henry the Navigator was an explorer, Portuguese explorer, and I'll give you the dates for him. 1394 to 1460. Not many people talk about him these days, do they? This one is John Parkinson, who was an apothecary, the doctor to James I. He lived from 1567 to 1650. Why somebody wanted to do a statue of him, I don't really know. Nobody's heard of him now, have they? I'm right by a memorial that I think everybody ignores when they come to this park. It's the William Rathbone V Memorial. Charity, industry and education are the activities depicted in the reliefs at the base of this memorial, and which defined the life and work of one of Liverpool's greatest philanthropists. William Rathbone V was born in 1787 into a family of merchants, politicians and social reformers. He was elected a Liberal councillor for Liverpool in 1835 and became Mayor of Liverpool in 1837. He promoted and supported many local and national causes, including parliamentary reform, repeal of the Corn Laws, the penny postage scheme and national education. So he died in 1868, so he lived for 80 years, and this here is the Rathbone home of the Rathbone family in Lark Lane. And to the right here we have a nice map of the park, which they're very good of them to give you that. And here he is, overlooking the river. It's in a lovely spot, so I want to get round the side of this statue to show his face. The trouble with this William Rathbone statue is it's on a plinth, a tall plinth. I'm putting the camera right up to see, you can see what he looked like, but we've got trees and they shade things, don't they? But there are some nice bits on the side. I don't know whether you'll be able to see that or not. I'm pointing the camera at it to show that there's a bit more to it than you might think. And when you look around, this is lots of trees round it, and a lovely spot where they put him, because this is a nice view of the river that flows through Sefton Park. Here is another view of the Eros statue, taking it from completely the different angle. We've got the rear, his rear end here, and there we have the cafe behind. There's a shadow in the foreground. And two babies squealing around here. I'm going to have a burger.